All right, let's talk about motor clubs. We work with a few of them. I won't mention which ones. I'm just going to mention them all in general. We'll start with the biggest that I know of. AAA. I don't know who's second or what they're ranked, but just the ones that I know that are out there. Road America, Cross Country, Auto Helpline, Honk, Urgently, National, Allied, and then you have your insurance, roadside assistance. So you have all the, I'm not even going to name them. It's Geico and Progressive, etc. All those people, but they don't have an actual network. What they do is they'll contract with the motor clubs that I just mentioned. So they sell the roadside to their customers when they buy a policy, but they don't deliver the service. When you call in because you got a flat, your insurance just forwards the call to a motor club, and then they'll send out whoever they have in their network. So that's how that works. So the customer is usually waiting on the side of the road for an extended period of time because, first of all, I think the insurance company probably pays well enough to keep that motor club in operation, but the motor club in turn doesn't pay the towing company much to come out and service you. So what happens is they're trying to keep the biggest slice of the pie. So you're out here on the side of the road. Meanwhile, the insurance already contacted the motor club. The motor club's calling everybody in their network, and nobody wants to change a tire on the side of the freeway for $21. It's just not profitable. Fuel, time, and liability. There's no money in it. So in the meantime, you're on the side of the road. This motor club is calling everybody and their mother to try to get somebody out here to assist you. And make no mistake about this, there are some people that are contracted with these motor clubs that don't have the proper permitting, insurance, and they shouldn't even be, they're not legally allowed to even be on the road. But in order to meet these motor clubs' bottom line, they'll contract with them. They don't check paperwork. They don't call the insurance to see if that policy number is valid. They don't do any of that. They take it as face value, and for a reason, so they can get cheap help. So anyways, yeah, the most of the motor clubs, they pay below the industry like based standard. So they're not good to work for. Don't rely on them. I wouldn't. You can. I can't. They don't pay enough. They don't even pay enough to keep the wheels rolling on the truck. So the only way I incorporate them into my business model is that I'll accept their calls if I'm in the area or I'm in between my primary calls, because my primary calls, they pay a lot. I deal directly with the insurance companies. We bill them directly, and each call is a minimum of $220. Doesn't matter if it goes 1 mile. Doesn't matter if it goes 10 feet. So when you compare that to these motor clubs, they can't compete. So that's what the insurance is willing to pay. They'll pay. But when you get this middleman involved, this motor club, those guys are trying to keep the let's say they pay $220, for example. They're trying to pay the provider like $45 out of that $220. And so that's just how they work. Those ain't exact figures, but it's just something to so you can get the concept of what I'm talking about. So for me, I work with some of them. I'm dedicated to none of them. I can turn down any call and it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me. There's no ranking. There's no rating. It's kind of like Uber. If you don't like the call, reject it. If you don't like what it's paying you, reject it. You know the rates already. You know what it's. You know what it is already. So if it's gonna just waste your time and there's no profit in it, why take it? They're good to have. I see my business as like a boat, and every day we're just plugging holes, and it doesn't matter how we do it. If the call makes sense, we'll take it. If it's in between calls of my primary account, then I'll take it. But you have to know how to work these people back. You have to know how to work these motor clubs. Not always will somebody accept their call. So when nobody accepts their call and they're desperate, that's when you kind of balance things out. You give them your regular standard rates. I give them my standard rates plus some, and they got no choice but to accept, because look at this heavy duty recovery right here. They have no choice to accept because they don't want to lose their contract. This motherfucker gonna come over here. They don't want to lose their contract with whoever they're hooked up with. So it's all about the timing. If you get the opportunity, go for it. It doesn't always present itself. It's not always gonna be that way. It's not always gonna work out in your favor. But when it does and you can do it, just go ahead and overcharge them, so that way you can recover your losses throughout your normal operations while dealing with them. But if I was you, I would just steer clear of any motor clubs and don't contract with them, because when you contract with them, you can't make your own prices anymore. You pretty much work for them, and they're going to set the prices, and they're going to set the rates, and they're going to dictate what you can and can't do and all that stuff. And that's when you're going to lose control of your business. You're going to be at their mercy, and they don't pay well, so leave them alone.